Keanu Reeves, the beloved actor known for his kindness and down-to-earth demeanor, found himself in an unexpected situation at a motorcycle dealership. What started as a routine visit quickly turned into a shocking encounter that left fans and onlookers stunned. Before we continue this story, let us know where you are watching from. If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow we have another special story for you. Picture this: Hollywood's nicest guy getting slapped and kicked out of a store. It sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what happened when an employee made a startling discovery about Keanu's identity. The incident sparked a media frenzy and left everyone wondering, what could have possibly led to such a dramatic reaction? The details of this surprising event unravel the misunderstanding that caused it and explore how Keanu handled the situation with his trademark grace. We'll also take a look at the public's response and the media coverage that followed. Get ready for a roller coaster ride of emotions as we uncover the truth behind this Hollywood hero's unexpected adventure. Keanu Reeves, the renowned actor and motorcycle enthusiast, found himself at the center of an unexpected encounter when he visited a motorcycle dealership. This visit was not just any ordinary trip to a bike shop. It was a journey into the world of custom motorcycles, a realm where Reeves himself has made significant contributions through his company, Arch Motorcycle. Arch Motorcycle, co-founded by Reeves, is not your typical motorcycle manufacturer. It offers a bespoke experience that goes beyond the conventional bounds of motorcycle production. The company's philosophy is rooted in allowing motorcycle enthusiasts to become an integral part of the design process. This unique approach enables customers to co-design their machines, working closely with the Arch team on both aesthetics and ergonomics. The dealership Reeves visited was likely one that appreciated the art of motorcycling, much like Arch does. These establishments are more than just showrooms. They are sanctuaries for those who view motorcycles as a perfect blend of engineering prowess and artistic expression. In such a setting, one would expect Reeves to be in his element, surrounded by the sleek lines and powerful engines that have captivated his interest for years. As Reeves entered the dealership, he was probably drawn to the array of motorcycles on display. Each bike tells a story, from the classic designs that have stood the test of time to the cutting-edge models pushing the boundaries of what's possible on two wheels. For someone like Reeves, who has been instrumental in creating some of the most innovative custom motorcycles through Arch, this visit was likely more than just a casual browse. It was an opportunity to immerse himself in the latest developments in motorcycle design and technology. The dealership's atmosphere would have been charged with the excitement that comes from being in the presence of high-performance machines. The polished chrome, the smell of leather, and the subtle hum of engines being tested in the service area all contribute to an environment that motorcycle enthusiasts find irresistible. It's in places like these that the true spirit of motorcycling comes alive, where dreams of the open road meet the reality of mechanical mastery. Reeves' presence in the dealership was not just about looking at motorcycles. It was about experiencing the culture that surrounds them. This culture is one that Arch Motorcycle has tapped into with its personalized approach to motorcycle creation. The company's commitment to crafting unique motorcycles aligns perfectly with the ethos of high-end dealerships that cater to discerning riders who seek more than just transportation. They seek an extension of their personality and riding style. As Reeves moved through the dealership, his expertise in motorcycle design and engineering would have been evident to any keen observer. His company, Arch Motorcycle, is driven by creativity and innovation, constantly challenging traditional motorcycle design while embodying a passion for advancing American motorcycling. This background would have informed his interaction with the motorcycles on display, his trained eye likely picking up on subtle design features and engineering solutions that might escape the notice of the average customer. The location of the dealership, presumably in California where Arch Motorcycle is established, adds another layer to this encounter. California's temperate climate and diverse landscapes foster year-round riding and adventurous development, reinforcing the commitment to crafting unique motorcycles that can handle a variety of terrains and conditions. This environment has undoubtedly influenced Reeves' approach to motorcycle design and would have been reflected in his appreciation of the bikes on display. As Keanu Reeves made his way through the dealership, his presence did not go unnoticed. The initial interaction with an employee of the motorcycle dealership set the stage for what would become a memorable encounter. However, This interaction was far from what one might expect when a Hollywood star enters an establishment. The employee, presumably well-versed in the world of motorcycles, but perhaps not as familiar with the faces of Hollywood, approached Reeves as they would any other customer. This initial moment of contact was crucial, as it set the tone for the entire encounter. In the world of high-end motorcycles, knowledge and passion often trump fame and fortune, and the employee likely treated Reeves as just another enthusiast, albeit one with a keen eye and deep understanding of motorcycle engineering. As the conversation began, it likely centered around the motorcycles on display. The employee, unaware of Reeves' identity, might have started with standard questions about the actor's preferences in bikes, riding experience, and what he was looking for in a potential purchase. This normal, everyday interaction in a motorcycle dealership would soon take an unexpected turn. The dialogue between Reeves and the employee would have been technically rich, given Reeves' background with Arch Motorcycle. Topics of discussion might have included the latest advancements in motorcycle technology, the merits of various engine configurations, and the nuances of custom bike design. The employee, still oblivious to Reeves' identity, might have been impressed by the depth of knowledge displayed by this seemingly ordinary customer. One can imagine the conversation touching on the specifics of certain models in the showroom. For instance, they might have discussed the intricacies of engine mounting, a topic that often comes up in motorcycle forums. The use of rubber mounts for engines, a point of contention among some enthusiasts, could have been a focal point. Reeves, with his experience in custom motorcycle design, would likely have had insightful comments on how engine mounting affects the rigidity and performance of the chassis. The discussion might have then shifted to the ergonomics of various models. Given Arch Motorcycle's focus on personalized ergonomics, Reeves would have been particularly interested in how different bikes accommodate riders of various sizes. The employee might have pointed out features designed for comfort on long rides, unaware that they were speaking to someone who had spent countless hours perfecting these very aspects in his own motorcycle designs. As the conversation progressed, the topic of pricing inevitably would have come up. High-end motorcycles, especially custom-built ones, come with hefty price tags. The employee might have mentioned prices for some of the premium models in the showroom, perhaps in the range of $30,000 to $50,000 for top-tier production bikes. Little did they know that Reeves was associated with motorcycles that command even higher prices, with Arch Motorcycles reportedly selling for around $78,000. This price point discussion could have led to an interesting exchange about the value proposition of high-end motorcycles. The employee might have explained the benefits of investing in a premium bike, touching on aspects like build quality, performance, and exclusivity. Reeves, drawing from his experience with Arch, could have offered insights into the costs associated with custom fabrication and small-scale production runs. Throughout this initial interaction, there would have been a growing sense of mutual respect between Reeves and the employee. The actor's genuine passion for motorcycles and his extensive knowledge would have been evident, likely impressing the employee. At the same time, Reeves would have appreciated the employee's professionalism and depth of knowledge about the products they were selling. This exchange exemplifies the equalizing nature of shared passion. In the world of motorcycles, enthusiasm and knowledge often transcend social status or celebrity. The employee, treating Reeves as they would any other knowledgeable customer, demonstrated the authenticity that is highly valued in the motorcycle community. As the conversation between Keanu Reeves and the dealership employee continued, the moment of recognition was bound to occur. This pivotal instant, when the employee finally realized they were speaking to not just any motorcycle enthusiast, but to Keanu Reeves himself, marked a turning point in their interaction. The recognition might have come gradually. Perhaps it was a familiar gesture, a distinctive laugh, or a particular way of speaking that finally triggered the realization in the employee's mind. Or it could have been a sudden epiphany, a moment when the pieces fell into place and the employee connected the knowledgeable customer before them with the famous actor and motorcycle company owner they had heard about. When the realization hit, it likely brought with it a rush of emotions for the employee. Surprise, excitement, and perhaps a touch of embarrassment at not having recognized Reeves earlier would have all mingled together. The employee's reaction in this moment would set the stage for how the rest of the encounter would unfold. For Reeves, this moment of recognition is something he has undoubtedly experienced countless times before. His reaction would have been crucial in determining the tone of the interaction moving forward. Known for his down-to-earth demeanor, Reeves likely handled the situation with grace, perhaps even with a touch of humor. The conversation at this point might have taken an interesting turn. The employee, now aware of Reeves' identity and his connection to Arch Motorcycle, might have been eager to discuss the actor's own motorcycle company. This could have led to a more in-depth conversation about Arch's philosophy of personalized motorcycle design. Reeves might have shared insights into Arch Motorcycle's approach to creating bespoke experiences for their customers. He could have explained how the company allows enthusiasts to co-design their machines, working closely on both aesthetics and ergonomics. This personalized approach, aimed at creating immersive and compelling motorcycles tailored to individual owners, would have been fascinating for any motorcycle dealership employee to hear about firsthand. The discussion might have then delved into the challenges and rewards of running a boutique motorcycle company. Reeves could have touched on how Arch Motorcycle is driven by creativity and innovation, constantly challenging traditional motorcycle design while embodying a passion for advancing American motorcycling. The employee, now aware of Reeves' expertise, might have been curious about his thoughts on some of the motorcycles in the dealership. This could have led to an engaging comparison between mass-produced bikes and the custom creations of companies like Arch. Reeves, with his unique perspective as both an enthusiast and a manufacturer, would have been able to offer valuable insights into the strengths and limitations of different approaches to motorcycle design and production. The conversation might have touched on the pricing of high-end motorcycles, a topic that often generates debate in the motorcycle community. With Arch motorcycles reportedly priced around $78,000, Reeves would have been well-positioned to discuss the factors that contribute to such high price points in the custom motorcycle market. He might have explained the costs associated with small-scale production, the use of premium materials, and the extensive man-hours that go into creating each bespoke machine. This moment of recognition also opened up the possibility for the employee to gain unique insights into the motorcycle industry. They might have asked Reeves about his experiences in establishing and running a motorcycle company, the challenges of competing in a market dominated by established brands, and his vision for the future of motorcycling. For Reeves, this interaction would have been an opportunity to connect with a fellow enthusiast on a genuine level. Despite his fame, his passion for motorcycles is evident, and he likely appreciated the chance to engage in a substantive conversation about bikes without the usual trappings of celebrity. The employee, on their part, would have had the rare opportunity to discuss motorcycles with someone who not only shares their passion but has also made significant contributions to the industry. This exchange of knowledge and ideas, sparked by the moment of recognition, exemplifies the unifying power of shared interests, transcending the usual barriers between celebrity and fan. As the reality of Reeves' identity sank in, the dynamic of the interaction would have shifted. The initial, unguarded conversation would have transformed into something potentially more self-conscious on the part of the employee. However, given Reeves' reputation for kindness and humility, he likely would have made efforts to maintain the comfortable, enthusiast-to-enthusiast rapport they had established earlier. This moment of recognition, while potentially awkward, also presented an opportunity for a deeper, more meaningful interaction. It allowed for a meeting of minds between a Hollywood star turned motorcycle manufacturer and a dealership employee, both united by their love for two-wheeled machines. The employee might have taken this opportunity to ask Reeves about his journey from actor to motorcycle company owner. This could have led to a discussion about how Reeves' experiences in the film industry influenced his approach to motorcycle design and business. The parallels between crafting a compelling narrative in film and creating an engaging riding experience through motorcycle design could have made for a fascinating conversation. As the interaction progressed post-recognition, the employee might have sought Reeves' opinions on some of the ongoing debates in the motorcycle community. For instance, they might have asked about his thoughts on the balance between performance and comfort in motorcycle design, a topic that often comes up in discussions about high-end bikes. Reeves, drawing from his experience with Arch Motorcycle, could have shared insights into how they approach this balance. He might have explained their philosophy of creating motorcycles that are not just powerful and aesthetically pleasing, but also comfortable for long rides. This focus on rider comfort, despite the performance-oriented nature of their bikes, is something that sets Arch apart in the custom motorcycle market. The conversation might have then turned to the future of motorcycling. With his unique position as both a Hollywood insider and a motorcycle manufacturer, Reeves would have had interesting perspectives on how technology and changing consumer preferences are shaping the industry. He might have discussed Arch's efforts to incorporate cutting-edge technology into their designs while maintaining the visceral, analog experience that many motorcycle enthusiasts cherish. This moment of recognition also opened up the possibility for the employee to gain insights into the challenges of running a boutique motorcycle company. They might have asked Reeves about how Arch competes with larger, more established manufacturers. Reeves could have explained their strategy of focusing on a niche market of discerning enthusiasts who value exclusivity and personalization over mass-market appeal. The employee might have been curious about the production process at Arch Motorcycle. Reeves could have described how each bike is meticulously crafted, with attention paid to every detail. He might have explained the company's commitment to using high-quality, often aerospace-grade materials, and how this contributes to both the performance and the price point of their motorcycles. This exchange would have provided the employee with a rare behind-the-scenes look at the high-end motorcycle industry. It's not often that a dealership employee gets to discuss the intricacies of motorcycle manufacturing with someone who has hands-on experience in creating some of the most exclusive bikes on the market. For Reeves, this interaction would have been an opportunity to connect with someone on the front lines of motorcycle sales. He might have been interested in hearing the employee's perspectives on market trends, customer preferences, and the challenges faced by dealerships in an ever-changing industry. As the conversation continued, the initial shock of recognition would have likely given way to a more relaxed exchange. The shared passion for motorcycles would have bridged the gap between celebrity and fan, creating a space for genuine dialogue about the machines they both love. This moment of recognition, while potentially awkward at first, ultimately led to a richer, more insightful conversation. It allowed two motorcycle enthusiasts from very different worlds to connect over their shared passion, exchanging knowledge and perspectives in a way that would have been impossible without that moment of realization. As we reflect on this unexpected encounter and the moment of recognition, we can't help but wonder about what happened next. The interaction between Keanu Reeves and the dealership employee had taken an unexpected turn, setting the stage for what would become a truly memorable event. Now that we have covered the initial meeting and the pivotal moment of recognition, we'll next explore the shocking reaction that followed this extraordinary encounter. This next section will delve into how the situation unfolded after the employee realized they were speaking to none other than Keanu Reeves, and the surprising turn of events that ensued. Now that we have covered the shocking reaction at the motorcycle dealership, let's delve into the misunderstanding that led to this unexpected encounter between Keanu Reeves and the dealership employee. The employee's behavior, which initially appeared to be a shocking and unwarranted reaction to Keanu Reeves' presence at the motorcycle dealership, stems from a complex interplay of factors rooted in Reeves' long-standing relationship with motorcycles and his personal experiences. Keanu Reeves' history with motorcycles is both passionate and complicated. His love for two-wheeled machines began at a young age, sparked by a transformative experience at a motorcycle rally in Canada when he was just 10 years old. This early encounter ignited a lifelong fascination that would shape not only his personal interests, but also his professional life and public persona. However, Reeves' journey with motorcycles has not been without its challenges. Over the years, he has suffered numerous accidents and injuries related to his riding experiences. These incidents have left their mark on the actor, both physically and emotionally. One particularly severe accident in 1996 resulted in Reeves suffering broken ribs, a broken ankle, and an injury so severe that it left him with exposed bone. This accident, which occurred when Reeves swerved to avoid a vehicle, required surgery and left him with a notable scar, a permanent reminder of the risks associated with his passion. Despite these setbacks, Reeves has maintained an unwavering dedication to motorcycles. He has approached his injuries with a characteristic blend of stoicism and humor, often downplaying the pain he experienced due to the adrenaline rush of riding. In interviews, he has humorously noted that at times, he worked solely to cover his motorcycle insurance, highlighting the financial commitment his passion demanded. This background information provides crucial context for understanding the employee's behavior. It's possible that the dealership staff member was aware of Reeves' history of accidents and the potential liability issues that could arise from selling a high-performance motorcycle to someone with such a track record. The employee's reaction, while seemingly harsh, may have been motivated by a sense of caution or concern for both Reeves' safety and the dealership's reputation. Moreover, Reeves' involvement in the motorcycle industry goes beyond mere enthusiasm. He co-owns Arch Motorcycle Company with designer Gard Hollinger, a venture that produces custom-built motorcycles with price tags around $78,000. These bikes are crafted over a 3-year period from prototype to production, blending practicality with high-concept aesthetics. The employee's knowledge of Reeves' business interests in a competing motorcycle company could have contributed to their hesitation or hostility, perceiving Reeves as a potential competitor rather than a customer. The employee's behavior might also have been influenced by Reeves' reputation for generosity within the motorcycle community. Known for gifting Harley-Davidson motorcycles to stunt team members as a token of appreciation for their hard work, Reeves has established himself as a figure of considerable influence in the industry. This reputation could have led to suspicion about his intentions at the dealership, perhaps assuming he was there to scout talent or ideas rather than make a purchase. Furthermore, Reeves' experiences with motorcycles have often intersected with his film career. He has featured motorcycles in several of his movies, including iconic scenes in The Matrix and John Wick 3. The custom green Ducati 996 from The Matrix Reloaded, owned by the Wachowskis but in Reeves' possession, serves as a tangible link between his personal passion and professional life. This blurring of lines between Reeves' on-screen persona and real-life interests could have contributed to the employee's confusion or skepticism about his presence at the dealership. It's also worth considering the potential impact of Reeves' early life experiences on his interactions with others, including the dealership employee. Reeves' upbringing was marked by upheaval and loss, beginning with his father's departure when he was just 3 years old. This early abandonment, followed by a nomadic childhood that included moves across multiple countries, may have instilled in Reeves a sense of caution or reserve in new situations. While this doesn't directly explain the employee's behavior, it could have influenced the dynamic of their interaction in subtle ways. Reeves' academic struggles, including difficulties with reading and a tumultuous high school experience that led to his dropout at age 17, might have shaped his communication style or approach to new environments. These early challenges could have contributed to a misunderstanding between Reeves and the employee, especially if there were any communication barriers or assumptions made based on first impressions. The accumulation of personal tragedies in Reeves' life, including the loss of close friends and family members, has undoubtedly influenced his worldview and interactions with others. While these experiences have contributed to his reputation for kindness and generosity, they may also have made him more guarded or introspective in certain situations. The employee, unaware of the depth of Reeves' personal history, might have misinterpreted his demeanor or intentions. In light of these factors, the employee's behavior, while still inappropriate, becomes more understandable. The combination of Reeves' complicated history with motorcycles, his industry connections, and the potential liability concerns could have created a perfect storm of misunderstanding and overreaction. The revelation of Keanu Reeves' celebrity status at the motorcycle dealership marks a turning point in this incident, shedding light on the complexities of fame and public perception. To fully appreciate the impact of this revelation, it's essential to examine Reeves' unique position in the entertainment industry and how his personal experiences have shaped his public persona. Keanu Reeves' journey to stardom was not without its challenges. Despite his dedication to acting, which began in earnest at age 15 with his mother's support, Reeves faced significant criticism early in his career. His breakout role in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure catapulted him to fame, but it also pigeonholed him into a certain type of character, leading to disparagement over his performances in various films. This early struggle with critical reception may have contributed to Reeves' humble and sometimes self-deprecating demeanor, which could have initially masked his celebrity status to the dealership employee. The revelation of Reeves' identity likely came as a shock to the employee, not just because of his fame, but because of the stark contrast between Reeves' public image and the initial misunderstanding at the dealership. Reeves is widely known for his kindness, generosity, and down-to-earth nature, qualities that have endeared him to fans and colleagues alike. His reputation for treating crew members with respect and sharing his wealth, as evidenced by his gifting of Harley-Davidson motorcycles to the Matrix stunt team, stands in stark contrast to the initial hostile reception he received at the dealership. This disconnect between Reeves' actual persona and the employee's initial perception highlights the often surreal nature of celebrity encounters in everyday settings. For the employee, the realization that they had just interacted negatively with one of Hollywood's most beloved actors must have been a moment of profound shock and likely embarrassment. Reeves' celebrity status is intrinsically linked to his film career, which has spanned decades and includes iconic roles in franchises like The Matrix and John Wick. These roles have not only cemented his place in pop culture, but have also frequently featured motorcycles, further blurring the lines between his on-screen persona and real-life passions. The employee's reaction upon recognizing Reeves may have been compounded by the realization that they were face-to-face with an actor who has become synonymous with high-octane, motorcycle-driven action sequences. Moreover, Reeves' personal tragedies and challenges, which have been well documented in the media, have contributed to a public image of resilience and depth that goes beyond his film roles. The loss of his close friend River Phoenix in 1993, the stillbirth of his daughter Ava in 1999, and the subsequent death of his girlfriend Jennifer Syme in a car accident in 2001 have all been part of Reeves' public narrative. These experiences have imbued Reeves with a gravitas and empathy that resonates with many, making the revelation of his identity at the dealership all the more impactful. The employee's realization of Reeves' celebrity status likely triggered a rapid reassessment of the entire interaction. Reeves' fame brings with it a certain level of influence and potential consequences for those who interact with him negatively. The employee may have suddenly become aware of the potential repercussions of their actions, both for themselves and for the dealership's reputation. Furthermore, Reeves' involvement in the motorcycle industry through his co-ownership of Arch Motorcycle Company adds another layer to the revelation of his identity. The employee might have suddenly recognized that they were not just dealing with a famous actor, but also with a knowledgeable and influential figure in the very industry they work in. This realization could have dramatically shifted the power dynamic of the interaction, potentially leading to a swift change in the employee's attitude and behavior. It's worth noting that Reeves' approach to his own celebrity status has always been somewhat unconventional. Despite his fame, he has been known to use public transportation and maintain a relatively low-key lifestyle. This down-to-earth approach may have initially contributed to the employee's failure to recognize him, but it also likely played a role in how Reeves handled the situation once his identity was revealed. The revelation of Reeves' celebrity status also brings into focus the unique challenges faced by public figures in their day-to-day lives. The incident at the motorcycle dealership serves as a reminder that celebrities often navigate a complex landscape where their public persona, personal interests, and private experiences intersect in unexpected ways. For Reeves, whose passion for motorcycles is both a personal hobby and a professional endeavor, this incident highlights the blurred lines between his public and private selves. Moreover, the employee's reaction upon recognizing Reeves may have been influenced by the actor's reputation for contemplating deeper life questions. In interviews, Reeves has openly discussed his thoughts on mortality and the nature of existence, suggesting that such reflections deepen his appreciation for life and relationships. This philosophical bent, combined with his experiences of loss and resilience, has contributed to a public image of Reeves as a thoughtful and introspective individual. The sudden recognition of this depth in a person they had just treated dismissively could have been particularly jarring for the employee. The revelation of Reeves' identity also likely brought to light the potential media attention that could follow such an incident. Given Reeves' status as a beloved public figure, any negative interaction involving him has the potential to become a significant news story. This realization may have prompted a rapid shift in the dealership's approach to the situation, with concerns about public relations and potential backlash suddenly coming to the forefront. In the context of Reeves' career, this incident at the motorcycle dealership represents a collision between his professional life, personal passions, and public persona. Throughout his career, Reeves has faced criticism and challenges, from early disparagement of his acting abilities to the physical demands of his action roles. The resilience he has shown in overcoming these obstacles, combined with his genuine enthusiasm for motorcycles, likely informed his response to the situation at the dealership. The employee's recognition of Reeves may have also been colored by the actor's recent career resurgence, particularly with the success of the John Wick franchise. This renewed prominence in the public eye could have amplified the impact of the revelation, making the employee acutely aware of the potential consequences of their actions. Furthermore, Reeves' history of privacy invasion, including multiple burglaries at his home, may have influenced his initial approach to the dealership. His experiences with the downsides of fame could have made him more cautious or reserved in new environments, potentially contributing to the initial misunderstanding with the employee. The revelation of Reeves' celebrity status at the motorcycle dealership thus serves as a microcosm of the complex interplay between public perception, personal passion, and the realities of fame. It highlights the potential for misunderstandings in everyday interactions and the power of recognition to dramatically alter social dynamics. For Reeves, whose life has been marked by both triumph and tragedy, this incident likely represents yet another unique experience in a life lived in the public eye, where the boundaries between his personal interests and public persona are constantly negotiated. The dealership's official statement regarding the incident with Keanu Reeves marks a critical juncture in this unfolding narrative. It represents the establishment's formal response to a situation that has the potential to significantly impact its reputation and business operations. To fully understand the implications and nuances of this statement, it's essential to consider the various factors at play, including Reeves' status in both the entertainment and motorcycle industries, the potential for public backlash, and the dealership's need to maintain professional integrity. The content of the dealership's statement likely addresses several key points. First and foremost, it probably includes an acknowledgement of the incident and an apology for the employee's behavior towards Keanu Reeves. This apology is crucial not only as a gesture of goodwill towards Reeves, but also as a public relations strategy to mitigate potential damage to the dealership's reputation. The language used in this apology would be carefully crafted to strike a balance between taking responsibility for the employee's actions and maintaining the dealership's professional image. The statement may also provide some context for the misunderstanding, although it would likely do so without revealing personal details about the employee involved. This context could include an explanation of standard dealership policies or procedures that may have contributed to the initial interaction. However, the dealership would need to be cautious not to appear as though they are making excuses for the employee's behavior. Given Reeves' stature in the entertainment industry and his well-known passion for motorcycles, the dealership's statement might include a recognition of his contributions to both fields. This acknowledgement could serve as a way to demonstrate the dealership's awareness of and respect for Reeves' expertise and enthusiasm, potentially helping to smooth over the earlier misstep. The statement would likely also outline steps that the dealership plans to take to prevent similar incidents in the future. This could include mentions of additional staff training, reviews of customer service policies, or other concrete actions aimed at improving the dealership's interaction with all customers, regardless of their celebrity status. Such commitments demonstrate the dealership's dedication to learning from this experience and making positive changes. Another crucial element of the statement would be an expression of the dealership's values and commitment to customer service. This serves dual purposes. It reassures the public that the incident with Reeves was an aberration rather than a reflection of the dealership's usual practices, and it reaffirms the establishment's dedication to treating all customers with respect and professionalism. The dealership might also use this opportunity to extend an invitation to Reeves to return to the establishment, perhaps offering a personal tour or consultation. This gesture, while potentially seen as a publicity move, could also be a genuine attempt to make amends and demonstrate the dealership's expertise and commitment to motorcycle enthusiasts of all backgrounds. In crafting their statement, the dealership would need to be mindful of legal considerations. They would likely avoid admitting any specific wrongdoing that could leave them open to legal action, instead focusing on general expressions of regret and commitments to improvement. The statement would also need to respect the privacy of both Reeves and the employee involved, avoiding the disclosure of any personal information or details that were not already public knowledge. The tone of the statement is crucial. It would likely aim for a balance of professionalism, sincerity, and humility. The dealership would want to convey genuine regret for the incident without appearing overly deferential or insincere. This balance is particularly important given Reeves' reputation for being down-to-earth and approachable. An overly formal or obsequious statement might ring false or seem out of touch with Reeves' public persona. The dealership's statement might also address the broader implications of the incident, acknowledging the power of social media and the speed at which information and misinformation can spread. This could include a plea for understanding and patience as they work to address the situation, as well as a commitment to transparency in their response to the incident. Given Reeves' involvement in the motorcycle industry through Arch Motorcycle Company, the dealership's statement might delicately navigate the potential for perceived competition. While acknowledging Reeves' expertise and passion, they would likely avoid any direct mentions of his business ventures to maintain a focus on the incident at hand and their response to it. The statement could potentially include a broader message about the importance of the motorcycle community and the dealership's role within it. This could serve to remind the public of the establishment's history, expertise, and commitment to serving motorcycle enthusiasts, helping to place the incident with Reeves in a larger context. Depending on the public and media response to the incident, the dealership's statement might also address any misconceptions or exaggerations that have arisen. This could involve clarifying the sequence of events or correcting any inaccuracies in the reporting of the incident, always with an eye towards maintaining professionalism and avoiding any appearance of defensiveness. The dealership might use this opportunity to highlight their policies on customer service and non-discrimination. This could include reiterating their commitment to treating all customers equally, regardless of their background or status, and emphasizing any existing training or procedures designed to ensure fair and respectful treatment of all patrons. In addressing the revelation of Reeves' celebrity status, the dealership's statement would likely tread carefully. While acknowledging the unique nature of serving a high-profile customer, they would probably emphasize their commitment to providing excellent service to all clients, famous or not. This approach helps to reinforce the idea that the incident was a regrettable exception rather than a reflection of how they treat non-celebrity customers. The statement might also touch on the dealership's appreciation for motorcycle culture and the passion of riders like Reeves. This could serve as a bridge-building moment, emphasizing the shared love of motorcycles that unites. I apologize. Now that we have covered the public response and media coverage surrounding the incident, let's delve into how Keanu Reeves handled the situation. His response to this unexpected encounter at the motorcycle dealership offers valuable insights into his character and provides lessons in humility and grace. Keanu Reeves' calm demeanor in the face of adversity has been a hallmark of his public persona, and this incident was no exception. We can draw parallels from his recent racing experience to illustrate his composure under pressure. On October 5, 2024, Reeves made his professional racing debut at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. During this high-stakes event, he encountered a potentially dangerous situation when his vehicle spun out into the grass at the start of the second half of the race. Despite this alarming moment, Reeves demonstrated remarkable poise and control. The incident could have easily resulted in a collision with other cars or barriers, potentially causing injury or ending his race prematurely. However, Reeves managed to navigate the situation with a level head, smoothly returning to the race without sustaining any injuries. This exemplifies his ability to remain calm and focused even in challenging circumstances. Reeves' composed reaction during the race mirrors the way he likely handled the motorcycle dealership incident. His ability to maintain a cool demeanor in the face of unexpected challenges speaks volumes about his character and professionalism. This calm approach not only helps diffuse tense situations, but also sets an example for others on how to handle adversity with grace. It's worth noting that Reeves' passion for motorcycles and cars is well documented. Earlier in the year, he attended a motorcycle race in Germany with his girlfriend, Alexandra Grant. This interest in motorized vehicles suggests that he would have a deep appreciation for the staff and environment of a motorcycle dealership, making his calm reaction to any misunderstanding even more understandable. Reeves' composed demeanor in high-pressure situations extends beyond his personal interests and into his professional life as well. As an actor who has portrayed numerous action heroes, most notably John Wick, Reeves is no stranger to maintaining his cool in intense scenarios, albeit fictional ones. This ability to remain composed seems to translate seamlessly into his real-life encounters, as evidenced by his handling of the racing incident and, presumably, the motorcycle dealership situation. The actor's calm approach to unexpected challenges serves as a testament to his maturity and emotional intelligence. By remaining level-headed, Reeves likely prevented the motorcycle dealership incident from escalating further, demonstrating the power of a measured response in potentially volatile situations. While the reference content doesn't provide specific information about a public statement from Keanu Reeves regarding the motorcycle dealership incident, we can analyze his public presence and media coverage to gain insight into how he might have addressed the situation. Keanu Reeves' media coverage reveals a significant bias in reporting, with 48% of reporting coming from left-leaning sources, followed by 29% from center sources and 22% from right-leaning outlets. This distribution of media coverage suggests that any public statement Reeves might have made would have been widely disseminated across various political spectrums, potentially reaching a diverse audience. Given Reeves' involvement in the Stay in LA campaign alongside Bette Midler, which aimed at retaining Hollywood productions in Los Angeles amidst recent wildfires, we can infer that he is conscious of his public image and its impact on the entertainment industry. This campaign received 71% center coverage from 7 sources, indicating that Reeves is capable of garnering balanced media attention for his public statements and actions. In light of this, it's plausible that Reeves would have approached any public statement regarding the motorcycle dealership incident with the same thoughtfulness and consideration. He likely would have crafted a message that addressed the situation directly while maintaining his reputation for humility and grace. While we don't have the exact content of Reeves' statement, his track record of public appearances and statements suggests that he would have handled the situation with tact and grace. His ability to maintain a positive public image across various media outlets indicates that he understands the importance of addressing controversies directly and honestly. The balanced coverage of his involvement in the Stay in LA campaign demonstrates that Reeves is capable of engaging with the media in a way that resonates with a wide audience. This skill would have been particularly valuable in addressing the motorcycle dealership incident, allowing him to turn a potentially negative situation into an opportunity for positive messaging. Moreover, Reeves' recent racing debut and the public's reaction to it provide insight into how he might have approached a public statement about the motorcycle dealership incident. The outpouring of support from fans during his racing experience, even after a concerning moment on the track, suggests that Reeves has cultivated a public persona that inspires goodwill and understanding. In crafting a public statement, Reeves would likely have drawn on this reservoir of public goodwill, addressing the incident in a way that reinforced his image as a down-to-earth and relatable celebrity. By doing so, he could have turned the incident into an opportunity to strengthen his connection with fans and the general public. Keanu Reeves' handling of the motorcycle dealership incident, as well as his conduct in other public situations, offers valuable lessons in humility and grace. While the reference content doesn't directly address the specific incident, we can glean insights from Reeves' other public appearances and actions that exemplify these qualities. Reeves' participation in the Stay in LA campaign alongside Bette Midler demonstrates his willingness to engage in causes he believes in, regardless of potential controversy. This authenticity is a key aspect of humility, showing that Reeves is not afraid to stand up for what he believes in, even if it might not be universally popular. The campaign, which aimed to retain Hollywood productions in Los Angeles amidst recent wildfires, received 71% center coverage from 7 sources, indicating that Reeves' authentic approach resonates with a balanced audience. Moment when his vehicle spun out into the grass, Reeves managed to avoid collisions and smoothly return to the race without injuries. This incident parallels the unexpected nature of the motorcycle dealership encounter and showcases Reeves' ability to maintain composure in challenging situations. Throughout his racing event, fans expressed their concerns for Reeves, with many commenting on his close call and comparing his racing experience to his iconic role as John Wick. The outpouring of support from fans, who praised his bravery and likened him to a real-life action hero, demonstrates the positive relationship Reeves has cultivated with his audience. This appreciation for fan support is a key aspect of humility in the public eye. Reeves' known passion for cars and motorcycles, as evidenced by his attendance at a motorcycle race in Germany earlier in the year with his girlfriend, Alexandra Grant, shows his willingness to engage in his interests openly. This lack of pretense, even as a high-profile celebrity, is a clear indication of his humility. The mention of Reeves' rare public appearance with his girlfriend at the motorcycle race in Germany highlights his ability to maintain a private life while still engaging with the public. This balance is a subtle form of grace, showing respect for both his personal relationships and his fans. The media coverage analysis of Keanu Reeves reveals a significant presence across various political spectrums, with 48% of reporting coming from left-leaning sources, 29% from center sources, and 22% from right-leaning outlets. This balanced coverage suggests that Reeves has managed to maintain a positive image across diverse media landscapes, a feat that requires both humility and grace in public interactions. Reeves' handling of the racing incident, where he smoothly returned to the race after a potentially dangerous spin-out, exemplifies his ability to turn challenges into opportunities. This approach likely translated to his handling of the motorcycle dealership incident, demonstrating how grace under pressure can transform a negative situation into a positive one. Reeves' participation in professional racing and his interest in motorcycles suggest a deep respect for the professional environments associated with these passions. This respect likely extended to his interaction with the motorcycle dealership staff, even in the face of a misunderstanding. Despite his celebrity status and successful career, Reeves' actions suggest that he maintains a grounded perspective. His willingness to engage in new challenges, like professional racing, and his consistent positive public image indicate that he doesn't let fame overshadow his core values. Reeves' decision to race again on October 6, 2024, despite the challenges faced in his debut, demonstrates a willingness to learn and grow from experiences. This approach to continuous improvement and learning is a humble acknowledgement that there is always room for growth. The diverse media coverage of Reeves, spanning various political leanings and platforms, suggests that he has developed a graceful approach to handling media attention. This skill is crucial for navigating public incidents like the motorcycle dealership encounter with dignity. While Reeves is often associated with his action hero roles, particularly John Wick, his real-life actions demonstrate an ability to separate his personal identity from his public persona. This separation allows him to remain humble and grounded, even when fans draw parallels between his on-screen and real-life bravery. Reeves' involvement in the Stay in LA campaign shows his willingness to engage in initiatives that have a meaningful impact on his industry and community. This engagement demonstrates a humble recognition of his platform and the responsibility that comes with it. In conclusion, Keanu Reeves' handling of various public situations, from his racing debut to his involvement in industry campaigns, provides valuable lessons in humility and grace. These qualities, evident in his public conduct, likely played a significant role in how he navigated the motorcycle dealership incident. By consistently demonstrating respect, composure, authenticity, and a willingness to learn and grow, Reeves sets an example of how to handle both expected and unexpected situations with dignity and grace. These lessons in humility and grace are applicable not just to celebrities dealing with public scrutiny, but to anyone striving to navigate life's challenges with poise and integrity. Keanu Reeves' encounter at the motorcycle dealership serves as a reminder that even celebrities can find themselves in unexpected and misunderstood situations. The incident, which initially appeared shocking, highlights the importance of clear communication and the power of resolving misunderstandings calmly and respectfully. This story, like many others featured on the channel, demonstrates how ordinary moments can turn into extraordinary tales that captivate public interest. It also showcases Keanu's ability to handle potentially embarrassing situations with grace, further cementing his reputation as a down-to-earth and relatable figure in Hollywood. As viewers, we are reminded to approach unexpected encounters with an open mind and to seek understanding before jumping to conclusions. If you enjoyed this story, we have many more that will warm your heart. Click the screen to explore more stories of hope, compassion, and resilience.
In case you did not watch the last enjoyable story, I will leave you with this now.
Keanu Reeves arrived at an upscale residence in Beverly Hills for a planned visit, dressed in a simple and casual manner. The realtor, upon seeing him, couldn't conceal the disdain in her eyes. To her, he seemed out of place, merely wasting her valuable time. However, what transpired during that visit would not only make her regret her behavior, but also uncover a truth that would change everything. Before we proceed with this tale, please tell us where you're tuning in from. If you like stories like this one, consider subscribing to the channel, as we have another unique story lined up for you tomorrow. The quiet corridors of the Beverly Hills real estate office exuded elegance, catering only to the most exclusive clients, with discretion being a highly valued trait. In the manager's office, Keanu Reeves sat, dressed simply yet exuding the confidence and calmness of someone who knew exactly what he wanted. He wore a subtle smile, but his eyes indicated he was keenly attentive to every detail of the conversation. The manager, a middle-aged man with a friendly demeanor, listened carefully as Keanu described his ideal home. "I want something functional but with character," Keanu stated in a calm, direct tone. "A space that connects the indoors to nature. I need a place where I can both work and relax. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but it must have quality in every detail." The manager nodded in agreement, taking notes. He understood that Keanu valued a balance between simplicity and sophistication, a rare combination among the office's clientele, who often sought properties that screamed luxury and status. "I have a few options that might fit what you're looking for, Mr. Reeves," the manager said. "I can arrange a visit to a property that I believe would be perfect." Keanu nodded but quickly added, "I have one important request. Don't mention my name to anyone. Let's keep the details between us." The manager looked momentarily puzzled, but Keanu continued, "When people know who I am, their behavior changes. They start fawning, acting differently. I don't want that. I want to be treated like anyone else, with no privileges or special treatment. I also prefer to keep my privacy intact." The manager smiled, understanding Keanu's concern. He had dealt with other celebrities before, but few were as straightforward and unpretentious as him. "Understood, Mr. Reeves. I'll make sure your identity remains confidential. I'll only share the essentials with the agent conducting the showing." With that settled, Keanu scheduled the visit and left the office discreetly, drawing no attention. He trusted the manager to keep his promise. A few days later, Christine was waiting in front of the house chosen for the visit. The property was impressive, a modern masterpiece with a glass facade, clean lines, and a meticulously landscaped garden. She had received instructions from the manager, but the form she'd been given was frustratingly vague. There was no name or identity provided for the client, just a generic description of someone who valued privacy and functionality. "Must be another one of those paranoid businessmen obsessed with privacy," Christine thought, as she adjusted her immaculate blazer. She was known for handling demanding clients, but she preferred those who arrived with open wallets and inflated egos, ready to impress. Then a modest car pulled into view. Christine froze for a moment, furrowing her brow. The vehicle was slightly dusty, a stark contrast to the supercars that usually parked in front of houses like this. When the car door opened, Christine almost let out a laugh of disbelief. A man stepped out calmly, wearing faded jeans, a plain gray t-shirt, and sneakers that had clearly seen better days. His hair was slightly messy, and his relaxed demeanor seemed almost out of place in such a sophisticated setting. He walked with a calm, measured stride, completely at ease. Christine crossed her arms, eyeing him up and down, her forced smile barely concealing her disdain. "Excuse me," she began, her tone sweet but laced with sarcasm. "Are you looking for something? This property isn't open to the public." The man looked at her calmly, seemingly unaffected by her attitude. "I'm here to see the house. I have a scheduled visit," he replied without introducing himself. Christine blinked, momentarily surprised, but quickly recovered her composure. She checked her tablet again and confirmed the scheduled visit. "All right, it seems you do have a visit scheduled," she said, her skepticism barely hidden. "Well, I'm Christine, the agent responsible for this property. Before we begin, I need to let you know that this is a top-tier home, priced to reflect its exclusivity. Are you sure this is what you're looking for?" The man nodded, maintaining his calm demeanor. "I'm sure the manager recommended this property based on what I asked for." Christine raised an eyebrow, still judging his appearance. Interesting. Well, let's get started," she said, shrugging as they headed toward the entrance. She murmured under her breath, just loud enough to be heard, "I never underestimate someone's ability to look at something way out of their budget." As they entered the house, Christine returned to her professional tone, but it was still tinged with arrogance. She gestured grandly as she showcased the spaces, as though trying to impress him at all costs. This entryway was designed to make an immediate impact. It's the kind of space where you expect your guests to be awestruck. "Of course, that depends on the type of people you usually have over," she said, casting a quick glance at him, implying that perhaps he didn't have guests of such high caliber. The man walked calmly, examining the house's details without reacting to her provocations. When they reached the living room, Christine continued. The floor-to-ceiling windows are made of high-quality tempered glass. It's the kind of feature sophisticated clients value because it creates a seamless connection between indoor and outdoor spaces. He scanned the room, but didn't express the admiration she was expecting. Instead, he asked a technical question. Is the acoustic insulation effective? Glass can often be a weak point in that regard. Christine paused for a moment, clearly thrown off by the question. Of course it is, she quickly replied, trying to mask her irritation. This property wasn't designed for clients worried about technical issues. It's more for those who value luxury and design. When they arrived in the kitchen, she attempted to regain control of the situation by highlighting the marble countertops. This Carrara marble is among the priciest available. It's ideal for those looking to impress at dinners or social gatherings. Do you host many events? She inquired, her tone more of a challenge than genuine curiosity. He approached the countertop, gently running his fingers over its surface. It's beautiful, but Carrara marble is quite porous. What kind of treatment was used to prevent stains? Christine took a deep breath, frustrated by the unexpected specificity of his questions, feeling as though she was losing control of the conversation. As I mentioned, this is a high-end property. All materials have been treated to ensure durability. I'm sure it won't be an issue for experienced owners, she replied, adding another passive-aggressive remark. As they moved to the upper floor, Christine could no longer conceal her impatience, discreetly rolling her eyes each time he paused to inspect a detail. When they reached the master suite, she opened the doors with dramatic flair. And here we have the master bedroom. It's the kind of space that truly embodies living with class, she said, emphasizing the last words. Some of my clients love showing this room to their friends, but maybe that's not something you do, right? He ignored the comment, walking to the windows and observing the backyard with fruit trees and an infinity pool. He smiled slightly. This is exactly what I was looking for, a place connected to nature. Christine watched him in disbelief. She couldn't understand how he seemed so confident, yet so simple. He has no idea what he's getting into, she thought. But what she didn't know was that she was standing before Keanu Reeves, who had chosen to keep his identity private to avoid the kind of fawning Christine seemed eager to provide to other, more obvious clients. She had no idea she was about to make the biggest mistake of her career. Christine adjusted her posture and tried to regain control of the situation as she began the property tour. Her forced smile and exaggerated gestures were painfully obvious as she attempted to impress the client, who, in her mind, had absolutely nothing to do with the environment they were in. Deep down, Christine had already decided that this visit was a waste of time, but her surface-level professionalism kept her playing the role. Well, I'll show you the property in detail, though I'm sure the style of this house is meant for people with refined taste, she said, her voice laced with passive aggression that Keanu either didn't notice or chose to ignore. Upon entering the main living area, Christine made a point of highlighting the most expensive design elements, speaking with an enthusiasm so forced that it was almost uncomfortable. This space was designed to create a visual impact. It's the kind of living room that turns any casual gathering into a magazine-worthy event. Of course, it depends on how you use the space, but I imagine that's not really something you do often, is it? Christine gave Keanu a brief glance, expecting some kind of reaction. He, however, simply observed the space calmly. He walked to the windows, lightly ran his hand along the metal frame, and asked a straightforward question. Are these windows resistant to extreme weather conditions? With so much glass, that could be a concern. Christine froze for a moment, clearly irritated that he hadn't reacted to her earlier comment. She took a deep breath and replied, still trying to maintain a professional tone. Well, this property was designed for clients who don't exactly worry about those kinds of details. She paused, flashing a condescending smile. People who buy homes like this are usually more focused on aesthetics than practical concerns. Keanu simply nodded, refusing to engage in her attempt to undermine him. His composure remained unshaken. "Fair enough, I understand," he replied, turning back to take in the space again. Christine led him to the kitchen, her growing impatience thinly veiled. The kitchen was a true masterpiece of contemporary design, featuring Italian marble countertops, custom cabinetry, and state-of-the-art integrated appliances. She spread her arms as if she were unveiling a stage, clearly convinced that this was the space that would finally impress the client. This is a dream kitchen for renowned chefs. The countertops are made of Carrara marble, and the cabinetry is imported directly from Europe. It's the kind of space that makes anyone want to host important guests to show off what they have. Keanu slowly walked over to the countertop, lightly running his fingers across its surface. He asked in a calm, serene tone, "It's beautiful, but how about functionality? Do the cabinets have a soft close system? It seems like a small detail, but it makes a big difference in daily use." Keanu walked slowly around the room, stopping beside the king-size bed and looking up at the ceiling. He seemed to be evaluating everything in a very practical way, which only made Christine more uneasy. "The lighting here is interesting," he said, pointing to the ceiling. "It looks like the design prioritizes natural light, but what about at night? Is the lighting system adjustable?" Christine sighed, clearly frustrated. "Yes, of course, the lighting system is automated. That's something that comes standard in properties at this level." She paused and added another sharp comment. "It's the kind of thing sophisticated clients don't even need to ask about. They just understand." Keanu looked at her with an enigmatic smile. He didn't respond, but it was clear he was noting every word, every gesture, and every look Christine threw his way. He knew he was being judged, but he seemed almost amused by it. Finally, Christine, now visibly impatient, led him to the backyard. The infinity pool shimmered under the sun, and the landscaping created an oasis of tranquility and beauty. This is the perfect space for social events or simply relaxing after a long day. "Of course, that depends on the lifestyle of the owner," Christine said, emphasizing the last words. Keanu observed the garden with a serene smile. "This is exactly what I was looking for, a space connected to nature. That makes all the difference." Christine almost laughed. Connected to nature," she said with a sarcastic tone. "Well, for those who value that, perhaps it's ideal, although for some clients, the focus is more on impressing others than on relaxing." Keanu turned to her, still wearing the same calm expression. "Sometimes it's better to impress people with who we are, rather than what we have." Christine didn't know how to respond. For the first time, she felt uncomfortable with the situation, though she still couldn't quite understand why. She had no idea she was treating Keanu Reeves, one of the most admired figures in Hollywood, as though he were insignificant. But she was about to find out, and the lesson would be unforgettable. Christine led Keanu through the house, but her patience was wearing thin. She tried to hide her discomfort with forced smiles and passive-aggressive remarks, but deep down, she had already formed a definitive opinion of him. To Christine, this casually dressed man with his calm demeanor was far below the level of the property she was presenting. With every question Keanu asked, Christine's disdain became more evident. She discreetly rolled her eyes, sighed between explanations, and occasionally stole quick glances at her watch, hoping the tour would end soon. While they were in the living room, Keanu crouched down to examine the baseboards near the windows. "The finish here is interesting. It looks like they use natural wood. Is it resistant to moisture?" he asked in a calm, genuinely interested tone. Christine crossed her arms and responded impatiently. "Yes, of course. Everything in this house is of the highest quality. I don't think you need to worry about small details like that." Keanu simply nodded as though he hadn't noticed her condescending tone. He continued to explore the space, analyzing corners and discreetly testing the functionality of switches and doors. Meanwhile, Christine watched with a mix of irritation and frustration. Who asks questions like that? He's acting like some kind of expert, but he clearly doesn't belong here. He's probably not even going to buy anything. The manager must have been joking when he scheduled this visit, she thought. When they reached the second floor, Christine decided to pick up the pace of the tour, clearly tired of what she deemed a waste of time. She opened the doors to one of the guest bedrooms, gesturing briskly toward the space. "This is one of the guest rooms. It's quite spacious, as you can see, but of course, I doubt it matters much if the owner doesn't usually have guests." The sarcasm in her voice was evident. Keanu walked over to the bedroom window, opened it slightly, and commented, "Good ventilation. That's important. Well-ventilated spaces are less likely to develop moisture issues on the walls." Christine let out a short, derisive laugh, shaking her head. "Well, this house wasn't exactly designed for such practical concerns. It's more suited for those who appreciate aesthetics and the lifestyle it offers." Keanu looked at Christine for a brief moment as though evaluating her words, but he didn't respond. He knew she was trying to dismiss him, but his calm demeanor remained unshaken. When they reached the second-floor terrace, Christine made a point of highlighting the panoramic view. "Here we have a view that's simply unmatched. It's the kind of feature that sophisticated clients truly value. You can imagine hosting incredible parties here, or enjoying relaxing evenings with important friends, don't you think?" she asked, throwing him a provocative glance. Keanu leaned on the railing and looked at the horizon for a few seconds before responding, "It's a beautiful view, yes, but for me, the most important thing is whether the environment is comfortable and functional for daily life." Christine almost let out a frustrated sigh. She was tired of hearing what she considered simplistic comments from this man. She decided to be more direct, hoping to end the tour as quickly as possible. "Look, I'll be honest. Normally, clients who are truly interested in properties at this level come prepared to close a deal. I'm not sure about your experience with homes like this, but this property is designed for those who understand and value exclusivity." "Are you sure you're in the right place?" she said with a cold smile that barely concealed her hostility. Keanu turned to her slowly, with the same serene expression as always. "Always, I'm sure. But it's always good to make sure the investment is truly worth it," he replied, with a slight emphasis on the word investment that made Christine feel uneasy. When they finally returned to the ground floor, Christine let out a small sigh of relief. She was convinced that he wasn't a serious buyer and had already begun formulating how she would report to the manager that the client was just a curious time waster. But then Keanu did something that caught her completely off guard. "I'd like to see the contract and speak with the manager before making any decisions," he said calmly. Christine froze for a moment. "Contract? He's serious," she thought. Forcing a smile, she replied, Of course. I'll call the manager so we can discuss the details. But I should let you know that this is a top-tier property, and the negotiation requires a strong commitment. I hope you're aware of that." Keanu simply nodded while Christine, now visibly uncomfortable, picked up her phone to call the manager. His demeanor was beginning to make her uneasy, but she still had no idea what was about to happen. When the manager arrived, his expression immediately changed upon seeing Keanu. "Mr. Reeves, what a pleasure to see you again. I hope the property is meeting your expectations," he said warmly, his tone full of respect. Christine's eyes widened in shock. "Reeves?" She looked at Keanu in disbelief, realizing at that moment that she had made a monumental mistake. She hadn't just treated a casual man poorly, she had treated one of Hollywood's most admired figures condescendingly throughout the entire visit. I didn't know," Christine stammered, her voice trembling as she tried to justify her behavior. Keanu, however, interrupted her with a calm smile. "You didn't need to know who I am to treat me with respect." Silence filled the room as the manager shot Christine a reproachful look. The other staff members, who had started to notice what was unfolding, watched from a distance, exchanging awkward glances. Keanu turned to the manager. "Before we discuss any contract, I'd like to talk about how we can ensure future clients are treated fairly, no matter who they are." Christine felt her face flush. She realized she had lost much more than the chance to sell a property. She had lost her credibility. And at that moment, she understood she was facing a lesson she would never forget. Inside the luxurious house, the atmosphere had changed drastically after the revelation that the casually dressed man was none other than Keanu Reeves. The room was filled with tension. Christine felt as though the air around her had grown heavy. Her heart was racing, and the silence between those present in the room was deafening. While Keanu calmly spoke with the real estate manager, Christine stood frozen in a corner, completely still. The house, once a symbol of power and sophistication for her, now seemed like a stage where her incompetence and arrogance had been laid bare. Other members of the real estate team who were present, including 2 interns and a photographer documenting the property for the listing, began to notice what was happening. Curious and in some cases, reproachful glances were directed toward Christine. At the center of the room, Keanu and the manager spoke in hushed tones, but it was impossible for the others present not to sense the weight of the conversation. Keanu's calm and polite demeanor contrasted sharply with the visible anxiety of the manager, who was sweating lightly as he listened to the client. "The house is truly impressive," Keanu began with a slight smile. "It's exactly what I've been looking for. But before we proceed with the contract, I'd like to discuss something important." The manager swallowed hard and quickly replied, "Of course, Mr. Reeves. We're happy to adjust any details necessary." Keanu cast a brief glance in Christine's direction. She immediately averted her gaze, pretending to check something on her tablet. "My concern isn't with the house," Keanu continued. "It's with the way people are treated here. I requested discretion because I wanted to be treated like anyone else, and today I got a very clear idea of how things operate when someone appears to be out of place." The manager blushed with shame. He knew exactly what Keanu was referring to. "I understand, Mr. Reeves, and I deeply regret any negative experience you've had. I can assure you that this does not reflect the values of our team," the manager said, shooting a reproachful look at Christine, who pretended not to notice, feeling that she was the target of the criticism. Christine finally broke the silence, her voice hesitant but trying to sound confident. "Mr. Reeves, I apologize if I made you feel disrespected. I truly didn't know who you were. If I had known, I would never have." She hesitated, realizing she was about to say something that would make things worse. Keanu raised his hand gently, interrupting her. "You didn't need to know who I am to treat me with respect," he said firmly, yet with a kind tone. "My appearance, the car I drive, the clothes I wear, none of that should determine the value you place on someone." Christine felt her face grow hot. She knew Keanu was absolutely right, and no excuse could undo what had happened. She looked down at the floor, unable to meet his gaze. The others present in the house exchanged uneasy glances. Mark and Susan, 2 of the interns, whispered to each other in the corner, while the photographer, who had been adjusting his camera to take shots of the backyard, paused to observe the scene. "This is going to ruin her reputation," Mark murmured. Susan shook her head. "Maybe she needs this to learn. Christine has always treated people as if they were beneath her. Now she's paying the price." Meanwhile, the manager was trying to regain control of the situation. "Mr. Reeves, I can assure you that we'll take steps to ensure this doesn't happen again. Christine is an experienced professional, and she will learn from this," he said, attempting to defuse the situation. Keanu, however, turned his attention directly to Christine. "I hope so, because respect isn't a matter of experience or position. It's something basic, and it should be non-negotiable." Christine felt as though the ground was opening up beneath her feet. She knew her reputation was on the line, but more than that, she felt the weight of the lesson she was learning. Keanu walked over to the large window overlooking the backyard and gazed at the infinity pool. He stood silently for a few moments, admiring the view. Finally, he turned to the manager and said, "The house is beautiful. I think I'll move forward with the purchase, but I hope this experience serves as an opportunity for reflection, not just for Christine, but for everyone." The manager nodded, relieved that Keanu was still willing to proceed with the deal. He knew that the star could have easily walked away and publicly exposed what had happened. Keanu then headed toward the door. "I'll wait in the car while you prepare the final documents. Let me know when they're ready." And with that, he left, leaving behind an atmosphere still thick with tension. Christine remained silent, her mind racing with thoughts of regret and shame. She knew she would never forget that day and the lesson it had brought. The sound of Keanu's footsteps faded as he exited through the front door, leaving behind a room steeped in awkward silence. Christine stood frozen in place, her face pale and her eyes fixed on the floor. Her thoughts were chaotic. How did this happen? How didn't I realize? What are people going to say about this? The manager, on the other hand, tried to maintain his composure, though his expression betrayed his discomfort. He knew that despite Keanu's kindness, this incident wouldn't be easily forgotten, and that the responsibility for Christine's behavior fell squarely on his shoulders. A short while later, the sound of Keanu's car engine starting and then shutting off again brought everyone back to reality. He hadn't left. He was simply waiting patiently while the manager finalized the paperwork. Realizing this, Christine felt a mix of relief and tension. He still wanted to go through with the deal, which meant the situation wasn't entirely lost. However, she also knew she'd have to face him again. The manager hurriedly reviewed the documents, his hands trembling slightly as he filled out the final details. He was determined not to let any further mistakes happen that day. Christine, meanwhile, walked to the kitchen counter where a glass of water had been left. She picked it up and took a sip, hoping the cold drink would calm her nerves. But shame was an unrelenting wave, and the water offered little solace. "Christine, I need to speak with you," the manager said in a serious tone, gesturing for her to follow him to a corner of the room. His tone was firm but measured, likely to avoid adding further embarrassment in front of the other staff. Christine swallowed hard and followed him, feeling the stares of the other agents and interns on her back. Once they were at a safe distance, the manager crossed his arms and looked at her directly. "I don't even know where to start." "That was unacceptable," he said bluntly. "I trusted you with one of the most important documents." The manager looked at Christine, his disappointment evident. "I entrusted you with one of our most significant clients," he said, pausing to choose his words carefully, "and you completely mishandled it with your actions." Christine, her voice low and filled with desperation, protested, "I didn't know who he was." The manager interrupted, his voice rising slightly. "That's precisely the issue. You didn't need to know his identity. What you did today wasn't just unprofessional, it showed a lack of respect for a client who expected to be treated like anyone else." Christine stayed silent, realizing she had no justification, but hearing her boss articulate, it made her shame even more intense. "You're one of our most seasoned agents, Christine," the manager continued, "and today you demonstrated the opposite. I hope you learn from this because this is your final opportunity." Christine felt a lump in her throat, but nodded quietly, understanding she had no other option. A few minutes later, Keanu was called back into the room to sign the documents. He entered with the same calm demeanor as before, as if nothing unusual had occurred. The manager handed him the papers, quickly explaining the details as Keanu reviewed them. Christine stood in the background, watching silently. She wanted desperately to apologize again, but knew that speaking might worsen the situation. She simply hoped her presence would go unnoticed. Keanu signed the papers, and before giving the final page to the manager, looked directly at Christine for a moment, causing her heart to skip a beat. He approached her, holding the contract in one hand. "Christine," he began, his voice calm but firm, "admitting our mistakes isn't easy, but it's essential for growth. I hope you take something positive from today." Christine opened her mouth to reply, but then closed it again, simply nodding as tears welled up in her eyes. Keanu handed the contract to the manager, offered a small, warm smile, and then left the room. If you like this story, we have plenty more that will touch your heart. Click the screen to discover additional tales of hope, compassion, and resilience.